BFG by Roald Dahl, Chapter 21, The Plan. The head of the army and the head of the Air Force stood at attention beside the Queen's breakfast table. Sophie was still in her seat, and the BFG was still high upon his crazy perch. It took the Queen only 5 minutes to explain the situation to the military men. "I knew there was something like this going on, Your Majesty," the head of the army said. "For the last 10 years we've been getting reports from nearly every country in the world about people disappearing mysteriously in the night. We had one only the other day from Panama." "Ooh, for the hatty taste," cried the BFG. "And one from Wellington in New Zealand," said the head of the army. "Ooh, for the booty flavour." "Ah, what is he talking about?" said the head of the Air Force. "Work it out for yourself," the Queen said. "What time is it? 10 a.m. In 8 hours, those 9 bloodthirsty brutes will be galloping off to gobble up another couple of dozen unfortunate wretches. They have to be stopped. We must act fast." "Ah, we'll bomb the blighters," shouted the head of the Air Force. "We'll mow them down with machine guns," cried the head of the army. "Oh, I do not approve of murder." "But they're murderers themselves, Mom." "That is no reason why we should follow their example. 2 wrongs do not make a right." "Oh, and 2 rights don't make a left." "We must bring them back alive." "How?" the 2 military men said together. They are all 50 feet high. They'd knock us down like 9 pins. Wait. Hold your horseflies. Keep your skirts on. I think I has the answer to the maiden's hair." "Let him speak," the Queen said. "Oh, every afternoon, all these giants is in the land of Noddy." "I can't understand a word this fella says. Why doesn't he speak clearly?" "He means the land of Nod. It's pretty obvious." "Oh, exactly. Every afternoon all those 9 giants is lying on the ground, snoozling away in a very deep sleep. They's always resting like that before they's galloping off to guzzle up another helping of human beings." Go on. So what?" "So what you soldiers has to do is to creep up onto the giants while they're still in the land of Noddy and tie their arms and legs with mighty ropes and wonking chains." "Oh, brilliant," the Queen said. "Well, that's all very well," said the head of the army. "But how do we get the brutes back here? We can't load 50-foot giants onto trucks. Shoot them on the spot, that's what I say." The BFG looked down from his lofty perch and said, this time to the head of the Air Force, "Ooh, you's having belly poppers, is you not?" Is he being rude?" the head of the Air Force said. "He means helicopters," Sophie said. "Ah, then why doesn't he say so? Of course we have helicopters." "Ooh, whoopsie big belly poppers." "Well, very big ones," said the head of the Air Force said proudly. "But no helicopter is big enough to get a giant like that inside of it." "Oh, you don't put him inside. You sling him underneath the belly of your belly popper and carry him like a torpedo." "Like a what?" "Like a torpedo," Sophie said. "Could you do that, Air Marshal?" Well, I suppose we could, Mom," the head of the Air Force admitted grudgingly. "Then get cracking. You'll need 9 helicopters, 1 for each giant." And there, the Queen, talking to the head of the Air Force and the head of the army. And there is the BFG, telling them exactly what they needed to do. "Where is this place? I presume you can pinpoint it on the map." "Ooh, pinpoint? Map? Oh, I've never heard these words before. Has this Air Force been talking slush bungle?" The Air Marshal's face turned the colour of a ripe plum. He was not being used to told he was talking slush bungle. The Queen, with her usual admiral tact and good sense, came to the rescue. "BFG, can you tell us more or less where this giant country is?" "Ooh, no, Magister. Not on my Nelly." "Then we're jiggered," cried the Army General. "This is ridiculous," cried the Air Marshal. "Oh, you must be not giving up so easy. The first titchy bobsticle you meet, and you begin shouting as if you've been biff squiggled. The army general was no more used to being insulted than the air marshal. His face began to swell with fury, and his cheeks blew out until they looked like two huge ripe tomatoes. Your Majesty, we are dealing with a lunatic. I want nothing more to do with this ridiculous operation. The Queen, who was used to the tantrums of her senior officials, ignored him completely. BFG, would you please tell these rather dim-witted characters exactly what to do? Oh, a pleasure, Magister. Now listen to me carefully, you two boot-bogglers. The military men began to twitch, but they stayed put. He's not having the foggiest idea where Giant Country is in the world, but he's always able to gallop there. He's galloping forthwards and backwards from Giant Country every night to blow my dreams into little Chidler's bedrooms. He's knowing the way very well. So all you's having to do is this. Put your 9 big belly hoppers in the air and let 'em follow me as I's galloping along. How long will the journey take? The Queen asked. Oh, if we is leaving now, we'll be arriving just as the Giants is having their afternoon snozzle. Splendid. Then turning to the 2 military men, the Queen said, Prepare to leave immediately. The head of the army, who was feeling pretty miffed by the whole business, said, That's all very well, Your Majesty, but what are we going to do with the blighters once we've got them back? Don't you worry about that. We'll be ready for them. Hurry up now. Off you go. If it pleases Your Majesty, I should like to ride with the BFG to keep him company. Well, where will you sit? In his ear. Sophie said, Show them, BFG. The BFG got down from his high chair. He picked Sophie up in his fingers. He swiveled his huge right ear until it was parallel to the ground. Then he placed Sophie very gently inside it. The heads of the Army and the Air Force stood there goggling. The Queen smiled. You really are a rather wonderful giant, she said. Oh, Magister, I's wishing to ask a very special thing from you. Oh, what is it? Could I please bring back here in the belly poppers all my collection of dreams? They've taken me years and years to collect, and I is not wanting to lose them. Oh, well, why of course. I wish you a safe journey.